Hello, this is sesay. I have to welcome you all to another episode of my channel. And today I'm here in a noble community being located in the west part of Freetown. This community is called Moiba. And as you can see, we have plenty people around. And we shall go around to see what is their thought and what have they been feeling about this pandemic. Now let's go.
Okay.
And as you can see, I'm here.
My name is Abbas Kamara.
I know we must have heard about this pandemic that is disturbing the world. Is that also? And also I believe you are experiencing it in Sierra Leone, and especially in this your community, Moiba, right? I'm here to ask you, actually, first of all, I know we are all aware that the government has put some measures in place. And I want to ask you, please, with you, Mr. Abbas, what do you think about the measures that have been taken by the government? How do you think this will be beneficial to the people of Sierra Leone and to you as well?
Actually, what the government did is correct. If this government decide not to fight this sick, I'm afraid we are all in trouble. But the problem is there is so much sufferation, no job, no food, no water supply. And also, whenever there is an outbreak in this country, you see prices of goods get higher. If you don't have money, you suffer. And also, there is some equipment we may need to protect ourselves, like the face mask, the hand sanitizer. But there is no money. The money I have is for me and my family, and that is not even sufficient. So I'm afraid this has caused so much pain in my life.
I want you to give your own small consent about this sickness, and what is your own opinion about the measures being taken by government? What do you think about it, and how is this thing affecting you, or how it has helped you much?
I can't say what the government did is bad, although it has affected us much, because places we used to go and fetch our living, we go there no more. But also, it is good that the government is taking this type of measures to get rid of this dangerous disease, so that we all stay happy again.
It seems that all of you are building up the same story. Now, if I may ask you, what are things you yourself have put in place in order to combat this sickness? In order, what I mean, not to contact this sick. What have you actually done to help yourself?
Well,
The only thing I'm doing now is to observe my precautions. I don't go to crowded places. I make sure I wash my hand whenever I come from a place that I'm not satisfied with. I keep a social distance, and I don't shake hands with people whenever I greet. That is why I didn't even shake your hand when you come to talk to me, because I'm afraid.
I'm here also to talk with some of the other youth in Moiba. Moiba is a peaceful community, and as I have noticed, not to say much, let's go straight to these people and have their consent, what they think about this sickness. Good evening, guys. How are you all?
I'm doing fine, man.
Okay, I am sesay. I'm here to ask you 3 questions, and I hope you are all okay.
You are okay.
Okay. First of all, I know we must have all heard about this pandemic, this sickness that is affecting the world. Is that also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And also, I'm sure that you are aware that this sickness is in Sierra Leone, because you normally get daily updates about how this sickness is moving fast in Sierra Leone. Now, I also believe that the government has put measures in place in order to combat this sickness. Now, I'm here to ask you in general, what do you actually think about the measures being taken by government? What do you think? How has these things affected you, or how these things has helped you much? Yeah.
Well, this sick was faced so many crises.
Okay.
People of Sierra Leone have suffered so much. There is no job opportunities, because most of the factories and companies has been shut down, and there is no sufficient food. Actually, this corona pandemic has caused so much suffering in Sierra Leone.
You are saying that since the outbreak of this pandemic, it has caused so many destruction, just as other parts of the world. Sierra Leone, I believe the measures being put forward by government has stopped most of the opportunities, because what I have noticed, families in Sierra Leone mostly depend on daily feeding. That when you go out for the day, whatever you get, you come and eat it. And also, now that since this outbreak of this sickness, the government has restricted people not to move that much and to avoid crowded places and to always wash your hand. And now, if I may ask you in particular, Mr. Santigi, how do you normally do to help yourself? What do you actually do sometimes to keep away from this sickness? In other words, in Creole, I mean, say, what do you say they do as individual for help yourself not forget the sick?
Like me, so.
As for me, I make sure I wash my hand every day and always keep a social distance. We are also warned to be using face masks, and I normally use it, and I wash my hand frequently. But you don't have a face mask today? Why? I forgot it at home. I'm just here to buy something and I'm going back. So tell me, how do you cope with this night curfew? I think this country is experiencing a night curfew. And as a young man, I believe you may want to be in the streets till late, and now no more. I think you have a night curfew from 9 to 6. How do you cope with it? I ride motorcycle to make my living, and I used to late in the street. But now I think we have a curfew night at 6 to 9. And sometimes the police even chase us, even though the time is not due. I'm sure that you are aware of this pandemic disease that is destroying people, the COVID-19. First of all, I want to know, how has this one affected your personal life? As for me, I'm very angry because I ride tricycle to make my living. We used to carry 3 passengers in our tricycle, but because of this social distance, the government has commanded us to carry only 2. But my concern is, the government should also talk to these tricycle owners, because we are riding for them. At the end of the day, we have to pay a fixed amount of money to them. And the government should talk to them. Out of the 100,000 leones which we normally give them, if at least we could give them 70,000 leones, that would be better. As you can see, my fellow tricycle rider can testify to this. Things are not really easy. Everything has become so difficult. So let them talk to these people. At least let them do this deduction for us. That will be better, because things are really difficult since the outbreak of this corona pandemic. It is not really easy.
You're welcome. Mr. Mohammed, please. I want to ask a few questions. I know you must have heard about this pandemic that is tormenting the world at large. Okay, and also I believe that you are aware that this sickness is also in Sierra Leone. Yeah, which I believe the government has put measures in place. Now I want to ask you, how has this measures which government has put in place, how has this one affected you in your own personal life? How do you think, how are you coping with this, sir?
First of all, I have to thank you for such question. This thing has affected us great, because we used to carry 3 passengers in a tricycle, and now because of the social distance, the government has commanded us to carry only 2. And also, we used to collect like 3,000 leones to carry some passengers to a certain distances. But now, the government has also commanded us to deduct it to 2,000, saying that because the price of the fuel has reduced. There has been much grumbling And before we used to walk like 150,000 leons, but now you can't. So we just pray that this sickness finish early, so we live again, because most people are going bankrupt now.
I want to ask you, I believe there are measures which government has put in place, like I believe most times they advise you to keep social distance, to wash your hand regularly, and to avoid crowded places. How do you actually cope with this? Do you actually practice all these things?
Obviously, we do it frequently. As for me, I have my sanitizer in my tricycle. I make sure even when I play with money, which I collect from passengers, I spray my hand. And also, I make sure I maintain social distance and never go to crowded places. I protect myself regularly.
Also, I'm here with another young gentleman. He's going to tell us his concern, what actually he has been feeling about this pandemic, the measures being taken by government. Good evening, sir. Your name, please?
Abubakar Kaloko.
Okay, Abubakar Kaloko, you are welcome. And please, shortly, I believe you must have heard about this pandemic that is destroying the world. Yeah. And I also believe that you are aware that it is now in Sierra Leone. Yeah. Right? And I believe the government has put measures in place which has caused some restrictions, restrict us from our normal doings. Because before, I know there are certain things you used to do. How has these things affected you, sir?
Well,
Up to this stage, I'm happy with the life that I'm living, since we have not recorded any death. I'm a tricycle rider. I ride from morning till 10 p.m. But now, I make sure I park my bike 9 o'clock p.m. There are so many things we used to do before that help us to develop as youth. Now we are not doing all these things. We are suffering so much because of this sickness.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abubakar. And also, I want to know if you normally practice all these things which has been put forward by government.
yeah,
I really observe all the measures. 1. The government advised us to keep social distance and to wash our hands frequently and use hand sanitizer, which I always use. I even have gloves, which I have just taken off because it's time for prayer. I make sure I do everything because I know that this corona is real and it has killed so many people.
We've all heard. These are the concerns of some of the youth in Sierra Leone, Moiba, Freetown to be precise. This message is going around to the world. These people are actually giving their concept. They are saying that this corona has caused so many distractions. Before, they used to go to places where they normally get their living. Now the government has stopped that. These people are willing to adhere to the precautions being put forward by government, although it is paining them. And also the last message I'm sending to you out there, you must aware that corona is real, it's no joke, it's pandemic, it's spreading at faster rate and killing people. So make sure you avoid social crowded places, maintain regularly with soap and fresh water, and also make sure you use your face mask. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.